So PWC in the US has decided to let go of 1,500 employees, or 2% of its total workforce, in light of the fact that they're just not leaving.
PricewaterhouseCoopers, PWC, one of the big four accounting firms, has announced a significant workforce reduction in the United States, laying off approximately 1,500 employees. This move represents about 2% of its 75,000-strong U.S. workforce and primarily affects the audit and tax divisions. PwC attributes the layoffs to historically low voluntary attrition rates, which have led to staffing surpluses. Despite efforts to reassign employees to other roles within the firm, the prolonged industry slowdown necessitated job reductions. Additionally, the firm has been investing in automation and artificial intelligence, AI, to enhance its services. In April 2023, PwC announced a $1 billion, three-year AI program aimed at integrating machine learning into audit and tax workflows. By May 2024, it had become OpenAI's largest ChatGPT enterprise customer, rolling out 100,000 seats. While these technologies are intended to augment staff capabilities, they also contribute to changes in workforce requirements. These layoffs are part of a broader global restructuring strategy by PwC. In April 2025, the firm closed operations in 9 sub-Saharan African countries following a strategic review. In China, PwC has faced significant challenges, including regulatory scrutiny and the loss of clients, leading to staff reductions and a 20% decrease in its partner ranks.
Now, that in itself might be for some people a reflection of the market, but I suspect it's more to do with just kind of employee retention and employee turnover thresholds. Very simple. Now, you have to understand that every big business has provisions in place to monitor how many people are coming and going, right? Obviously. Now, employee turnover thresholds in organizations tend to be around, 5-10%. That tends to be what it is. Now, it's actually higher in management consulting and advisory and audit because it's very pressurized. So it's more like 15-20%. But historically, what organizations would do in terms of preparation of this is that they acknowledge that this is going to happen naturally. People leave every year, and as a result of that, they build the systems in place to make sure that there's always enough people. So graduate recruitment, experienced hires, and then partnerships with third-party recruitment firms, temporary employees, etc. And that there is designed to just make sure that the business always has enough people. Now, what this is happening in America right now, at least, and because this is specific to audit and tax, is that people are just not leaving. And I would suspect, because every year they would have thousands of people who qualify as a full-on accountants, graduates who qualify, and generally speaking, a big chunk of those leave as soon as they qualify because they get offered jobs by their clients, they get offered, a significant pay rise once you qualify fully. But it would just seem like people are not leaving. Now, that in itself could be a reflection of the opportunities that are in the market, but I would suspect that the decision to let go of people would be more to do with the fact that they have these thresholds. And then when people qualify, even internally within PwC, that their salaries would increase. So it's easier to let go of them whilst we're recruiting new ones. And you know what I'm saying? So that cycle then continues. So this would be, I would suspect, more of an internal decision rather than a market decision, just ensuring that, the business has sufficient resource, but it's willing to invest more money in developing cheaper resource into more expensive resource, rather than keeping more expensive resource and then stopping graduate recruitment, for example.
The global economic environment has become increasingly unstable, with slowed growth, reduced corporate spending, and rising interest rates contributing to a cautious business climate. Many companies are scaling back on consulting and auditing services, especially in sectors hit hardest by the downturn. As PwC's clients tighten budgets, their need for extensive external advisory and tax planning has shrunk, leading to underutilized staff across departments. Among the most affected is PwC's tax division. Changes in international tax regulations, a cooling M&A environment, and the growing adoption of AI and automation in tax compliance have reduced the demand for human labor in this field. Companies are investing more in in-house automated systems for handling routine tax tasks, diminishing the need for traditional tax advisory services offered by firms like PwC. The combination of fewer client projects and rising pressure to cut costs in a low-growth economy has forced PwC to recalibrate. Despite long-term investments in technology and workforce reskilling, the immediate financial reality has necessitated layoffs. PwC is not alone. Other Big Four firms, Deloitte, EY, and KPMG, have also faced similar reductions, reflecting an industry-wide shift. The accounting sector, long seen as stable, is undergoing a major transition as economic pressures intersect with digital transformation. In essence, PwC's layoffs are not just a response to internal issues, but a reflection of a larger economic narrative. A slowing economy paired with a rapidly changing tax landscape is reshaping how firms operate and who they need to employ.
PwC just announced 1,500 layoffs. That's in addition to the 1,800 layoffs they announced last fall. What does this mean for people starting their accounting career? First of all, we never want to see layoffs, but we know this is part of the Big Four operating model. Back in 2023, EY laid off 3,000 people. Deloitte and KPMG have done similar headcount trimming in recent years. Why is any of this happening? Because if we look at Big Four revenue, we can see it's actually flattened in recent years. Plus, if we look at headcount at these largest firms, we know that it was hugely growing back in 2022, and it's been trending downwards ever since. Combine that with low attrition, people are not leaving their jobs. That means they found themselves overstaffed in certain areas that were normally pretty stable and steady. So, should you feel confident about starting at one of these firms or starting in public accounting in general? Absolutely. This is where the most entry-level accounting opportunities still exist in the professional services public accounting sector. Plus, it's a great launch pad for your career. You just need to network and plan ahead a little better, especially while there's economic uncertainty.
The best way to announce layoffs is not over a Zoom call. I keep seeing these videos going viral of these companies announcing a round of layoffs on a Zoom call. They have their HR talking head, they have the C-suite in the office, and they're telling everyone on the call that they're getting fired. So naturally it doesn't go well. Everyone listening is giving all their thumbs down, and they end up just ending the call early. This isn't the best way to do it. The best way to announce layoffs is to not announce them. Just deactivate everyone. Cut off their access to their work computer, to their email, to their Slack, any system that they have access to. Cut them off, eliminate them, fire them, move on. It's not that difficult. You guys are complicating things. Do it this way. It's much better.
Breaking: PwC just blindsided more than 1,000 employees by telling them that they were losing their jobs. But get this. PwC said that they were getting rid of people because people weren't quitting fast enough. That is just brutal. But it proves what I've been saying all along. Quiet firing is a thing. Companies come up with ways to force people out of the door without officially firing them so that they don't have to pay severance or unemployment. That's one of the reasons why there have been so many return to the office mandates when we all know that working from home has been successful for the past 5 years. But think about the other reason why so few people are quitting their jobs right now. It's one word: the economy. People can't afford to quit. So people are staying in bad situations far longer than they should, forcing big companies like PwC for blindsiding these workers in this economy.
If you're in this meeting, it means that you have agreed to take voluntary redundancy. In other words, you're fired. If you plan on writing a farewell email to your coworkers, keep these guidelines in mind. Number 1, make the company look good. Make them think you love us. Number 2, don't be afraid to get emotional. Share a little bit about your experience. Make it look real. And lastly, we want to create the illusion that this was your idea, not the company's idea. This meeting never happened. To make things easier, this is the format you are required to use in your email. It essentially says that you've enjoyed your time here and you're excited for the future. And you respect your boss. Any questions? No time for questions. Get out of here.
In accounting news today, PwC just laid off 1,500 employees overnight. And to those people, my condolences go to you. I'm sure you were not expecting this news, and I'm sure everyone in the accounting world was not expecting this news at all. All I can really say is that if you were not expecting this and you're financially not there, please file for unemployment. Try to hit a recruiter up in LinkedIn, message them, see if you could find a new job as soon as possible. I know it's not something you were expecting. Now, for the people that, maybe plan for some uncertainties in life, maybe had a 3 to 6 month emergency plan or 1 year fund where if you were to get laid off, you have a year to think about what you want to do next in life. Take this time to really think about what you want to do, or maybe find a new position where you think you'd be happy at. You know what I mean? If you have this opportunity where, you're blessed enough to plan ahead of something like this, happening, and you have the time to really be like, hey, you know what? Maybe accounting's not for me. Let me open up, a coffee shop, or let me try something new. What I'm trying to say is that take this time to really think. And to the people that feel uncertain about their future in accounting, even myself, at the end of the day, all you can do is plan ahead for yourself. Try to get a 3 to 6 month emergency plan, and also try to be debt free as soon as possible. The last thing you want to do is an emergency to happen in your life and you have to stop working, or you get laid off, and you don't have this funds to help you to not worry about where your meals are coming from, how you're going to pay your rent, how you're going to pay your mortgage, how you're going to feed your kids. Try to have an emergency fund as soon as possible. The first thing I did in my first year in my career was pay off my debt, my student debt, and also the second thing was make a 1 year emergency fund in case something were to happen. Once I did those things, it took me 2 years to make the 1 year emergency fund. Once I did those things, I was pretty much set, and I kind of told myself, if something were to happen in my career where I had to stop working, I got really sick, I had to stop working, or I needed to take care of someone in my family, or I got laid off, at least I had a 1 year buffer to really think about what I wanted to do next, or at least go back into my career after a year. So honestly, guys, all I can really say is that there is light at the end of the tunnel for people that did not, plan ahead of this. Please file for unemployment. Please hit up a recruiter. If you do have enough time to really think about what you want to do, please take this time to really just, think, maybe take a little bit, maybe take a month off, 2 months off, and I hope things get better in the accounting world soon.
In conclusion, PwC's recent layoffs are a clear reflection of a shifting economic landscape. As global markets slow down and corporate spending tightens, even the biggest firms like PwC are being forced to cut back. The tax advisory sector, once a steady pillar of revenue, is now under pressure from automation and reduced demand, both driven by an uncertain economy. This isn't just a PwC problem, it's a warning sign for industries across the board. If you found this analysis insightful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Orbit Point, your source for powerful breakdowns of business news and economic trends. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think more layoffs are coming in 2025? And don't forget, Orbit Point is where